Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine Solomon. I am a licensed counselor and a virtual coach, and today we're going to be talking about avoidant attachment style in your relationship. I do have a video that I made recently as well on anxious attachment in relationships, and so if you relate to that and that's something that you want more information on, make sure that you check that out. But today is all about avoidant. First off, I want to give a little disclaimer, because if you are someone that is avoidant, or you think that it is based on maybe comments that your spouse makes or whatever the case is, I really just want to say that I know a lot of videos online make it sound like you're the villain. You're the cold one, you're emotionally unavailable, the one who's doing everything wrong. And I just want to gently push back on that with you, because I don't think that's the full picture, and I don't think that's fully fair to say about you. Avoidant attachment is not necessarily like a character flaw. It's usually a learned behavior or learned skills that maybe served you at one time in your life but are no longer serving you and are no longer a healthy part of how you communicate and function in your relationship. And so I want to talk about what it can look like and also just kind of help you work through some of those things. Okay, let's just first start a little bit more talking about what avoidant attachment style is to begin with. So attachment theory basically is talking about how, as you're forming as a kid, the kind of attachment or close relationship or not close relationship that you would have with your caregiver. How those early bonds tend to shape the way that relationships are formed for us as we get older. So here's an example of what this could have looked like for you. Maybe in your early life, you learned that needing other people wasn't safe, or it wasn't useful, or it wasn't welcomed. Maybe your parents loved you, but honestly they weren't very good at the emotional stuff. Maybe big feelings got shut down really quickly, or they rolled your eyes at you if you were feeling really emotional. Maybe you had to grow up really fast because of different circumstances and you just had to be the responsible one really quickly. Or maybe you reached out for connection, tried to get help for certain things, and it didn't work out. They shut you down, you got disappointed over and over, and so you kind of just default learned, I'm not gonna do that anymore. So your nervous system, your brain, everything learned, okay, I can't depend on other people. I can only depend on myself. If feelings were getting you in trouble, okay, I'll just stop feeling things. I'll just push it away. I won't deal with it. I'm fine. If needing people led you to pain, then you would stop doing it. You just stop needing people and relying on them and opening yourself up to them because they weren't trustworthy. And it probably seemed to feel like it worked and kind of just get you through things and kept you feeling more stable and less, unstable or shaky in things that you may have experienced when you were younger. But now you're older, you're an adult, and maybe you're married, maybe you want to be, maybe you're dating, whatever the case is. You have people that are close to you, or that want to get close to you, I should say, because they love you. But there's that old survival skill that's still kind of constantly running in the background, telling you to back up, to numb out, to be careful, to keep your walls up, to handle it on your own. And that can be what avoidant attachment style looks like for you. It's not that you don't want the connection, it's just that what connection means feels very costly. And because of what you may have learned previously, your body and your brain is recognizing that as a threat and it wants to protect you. And so it continues to remind you of everything that used to happen and continues to help you stay on guard. And I just want to say that I'm sorry if you did experience a lot of things that would teach you that it's not safe to be vulnerable with other people. A lot of those things were probably negative experiences that you had, and I just hope that you would have an open heart and mind to be able to want to work through this so that you don't write out what beauty can happen when you get close to other people. Because there are really good, safe people out there. So I also want to talk about some more specific examples of what it can look like in the real world, and so that you can kind of begin to also shift and understand from your viewpoint like what it is. Let's say that your spouse brings something to you that hurt them. Maybe you said something dismissive this week, or you forgot something important that was last week, or you've been working a lot and you're just not around as much, and immediately you kind of just feel yourself go flat. Maybe even go numb. Your face stops moving, you get really tense, you feel frustration building up, and you're listening, but honestly, you would like to leave the room immediately. Like, you do not want to be there talking about this. You're already planning your defense, or you're just waiting for this conversation to be over so that you can go decompress and think about anything else. You might even hear your spouse like, are you listening to me? Are you hearing me? And you say like, yes, but really you both know that you're not fully there, not fully engaged in what's happening. You just want it to be done. The second example of what this can look like is kind of like a slow drift after conflict. So like, let's say that you had a fight and now you want space. You said that you want a few hours, maybe it turns into a couple days or an entire week. And your spouse really wants to talk things through and tie it up and reconnect, and you could not want that any less. The thought of talking about it again literally makes you physically uncomfortable, or maybe makes your stomach turn in knots. So you pull away, maybe you sleep on the couch, you just say that you don't want to talk about it, you don't have anything to say, there's nothing wrong. You start working extra late, finding excuses to not be available. And this might just be your best way of coping, but on the other hand, your spouse is feeling like they're on an island, left alone emotionally to figure it out all on their own, and it's just really stressful. The third way that it could look like is trying to do it all yourself. You feel like you have to have it all together, and you feel like you have to be the answer for everything. If something breaks, you're gonna fix it. People don't mind coming to you with their problems, but you don't go to anybody else because you can handle it all. And if something really hard happens, your first instinct is to not call your spouse and talk to them about it. It's just to figure it out, process it alone, internalize it, I will deal with it. But it just piles up, it just feels heavy. You feel stressed, you feel anxious, you're not sleeping well, you're a little bit grouchy because you're just carrying so much stuff. You just want to handle it yourself. Those are some really common ones that you'll see if you have avoidant attachment. Okay, let's talk about why this can be hurting you now. This might have, like I mentioned earlier, really saved you as a kid and been important, but now it's costing you as an adult. Every time that you pull away, every time that you push them away, you are putting this wall in between y'all's ability to stay connected. Your ability to receive love and really give love is hindered because you've got these walls up that used to protect you, but really they're just keeping you out of where you need to be in your relationship. So what do you do about it? Let's get really practical here for a second. The first thing that you can do is to start and pay attention and build self-awareness about what is happening in your body, because a lot of times you are going to notice that you're feeling this tense way and feeling the ways that you have felt before, but if you can catch it earlier, it would be before you act out in whatever way that you're going to, whether that's shutting down the conversation, whether that's walking away, whether it's being dismissive, whatever. If you can identify in your body, I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm feeling really tense, I'm feeling like I've just got to be as still as possible so that I don't get too emotional, or I don't have to identify or deal with it anymore. My body is trying to protect me, my brain is freaking out, all I want to do is run and escape. And the hard thing to do, but something that is really helpful, is to push back a little bit against it. Okay, the second thing that you can do that would be really helpful is to practice staying a little bit longer, almost outlasting when you want to leave. Even if it's just 60 seconds, telling yourself that you can practice building comfortability within the discomfort by staying a little bit longer than when your brain is initially saying get out, we want to leave. You're essentially teaching your nervous system that staying isn't going to kill you, right? Your brain feels like it's a very real threat. And so you're pushing back and teaching yourself that you are not in actual danger. The third thing that I would consider, I know that sometimes people have a really hard time articulating what they want to communicate. And so I would really say that you could use your notes app. This is something that I used to do, because when I first got married, was actually avoidant. I had a really good time talking about things and would just close up and not want to be emotional in front of my husband. And so I would write things out on my notes app in my phone, and then use that to be able to filter out what needs to be shared, what needs to just be venting, but I don't need to tell him. And then you can use that to then share what's on your heart with your spouse. It can even be something that you literally read if you need to. It's just really good practical baby steps to get yourself comfortable to being able to talk about what is going on without feeling like it's too overwhelming. And so if that is a good way to kind of have a good middle ground for you, I would definitely try that. You also would probably benefit from the Ultimate Couples Check-In Guide, which you can get a copy in the description. There's a link for you. But basically, this will really help you guys if you need specific questions or a structure of how to have a check-in, to teach yourself into practice being in this regular form of communication. The next thing that I really want to highlight is that you don't have to do everything on your own. I know that sometimes it can feel like maturity and self-reliance are one and the same, and that asking for help is weak, but that is definitely not the case. We are meant to do life together. We're meant to be in community. If you are in a relationship, you are obviously, we've talked about, hurting them and hurting yourself when you keep them out. And so being able to let them in, it's scary because it makes you be vulnerable. But even practicing being able to do that will help you find security in sharing with them. And the last thing that I really want you to know is that sometimes it's very beneficial, outside of just watching one free YouTube video, is to get some outside help. That could be with actual therapy. I work with couples all the time through attachment styles. And so it's like a very normal thing to work through. And it's like so effective for you to be able to come and talk through the specific things and the specific ways that it plays out for your life. And so if you want to work directly with me, you can check out the link below as well. There's also something that I've created if you're like, I'm just not ready for therapy, like I don't want to do that. It's called the Attachment Style Masterclass, and it's basically this on steroids. I am teaching you so much more than I'm teaching you here, and there's also a workbook so that you have all the tools that you need to understand more about yourself. It talks about anxious attachment styles as well, all the different ways that that plays out in relationships and how to move towards security. If you've made it this far in the video, I'm really proud of you. I know that talking about and even just like thinking about all of this can be really stressful, but you're learning so much more about yourself or your spouse if you think that they might be avoidant. So I hope that this has been really beneficial for you. Make sure that you like this video and subscribe, and I will see you next time.